Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to our second hour on Jam 316. Easter is around the corner. In fact, ishapiga corner. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Good Friday, celebrating what the Lord did for us. I don't know what plans you have for Easter. If you're going to be hanging around in the city, check out Sarit Center. Lots of great things happening there, and you can take your children and just get to enjoy some of the things that are happening there. They'll be having the Nairobi Girls Chorale. My friend, ushaisikia watu wakiimba. I usually say there are those who make a joyful noise to the Lord like me, and then there are those who sing a new song unto the Lord. Nairobi Girls Chorale sing a new song to the Lord. And so they'll be there on the 29th and the 31st, so you can get to enjoy shopping while listening to these melodies that will uplift your soul and remind you what the Easter season is all about. Also, we have Almasi Chorale. Now, Almasi Chorale specialize in African choral arrangements and also African American spirituals, pop choral tunes, and so much more. They will also be at the Sarit this weekend, 30th from 2 p.m. You can also get to interact with their music as you shop and just get to have a wonderful time. If you watch Family TV, you know about Superbook because it airs 5:30 p.m. every weekday and on Saturdays at 9:30 in the morning. So you must know Gizmo. Now Gizmo will be making a special appearance at the Sarit this Easter weekend on the 30th and the 31st. Great opportunity for you to take your children to interact with Gizmo. Don't miss out on that opportunity. So, my friend, you need to download the Sarit Center app from the Google Play Store and from the Apple Store. Register. Upon registration, you earn 50 bonus points as you shop. Use the app and you get to earn loyalty points. Zitakusaidia. So this Easter season, check out Sarit Center. It's not just about shopping, it's about belonging, it's about pure enjoyment, and it's about love. So be a part of what's happening at the Sarit with this Easter experience, because hakuna mahali pengine kuna kitu kama hii. It's all happening at Sarit Your City. Check out their website, www.sarityourcity.com. Leo ni Thursday. Thursday ni siku ya clinic. Clinic ya wale ambao wanapendana. Relationship clinic. When's the last time you went for a checkup? I was asking myself this question and I was thinking, my friend, you need to go for a checkup. Yeah, uangaliwe tu kama kila kitu iko sawa. Yeah, the liver might have moved up and you don't know. When was the last time you went for a checkup? We go for checkups. And when we go for checkups, there's specific things the doctor looks at to figure out if you're in good health. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, and all these things. And they will tell you, okay, hapa kuko sawa, hapa something seems to be off. This could be the reasons. We need to do another test. And it helps you instead of waiting until you collapse and then. So today on the clinic, we want to do a marriage checkup. Very, very important. What's a marriage checkup? How do you do it? Don't worry. We'll give you answers to that. I have an amazing couple joining me in studio this morning to help us with this. These are the doctors in the house today. Pastor Barnabas Achoki and Grace Achoki. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, doing well.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
The last time ulienda checkup mchungaji ni lini?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Hey, you're better than me.
Yes.
Me, I can't remember the last time I went for a checkup.
Yeah.
I need one urgently. Madaktari, haven't to me any contacts. Yeah. What is a marriage checkup anyway, Grace? Mm-hmm. How would you define a marriage checkup?
Thank you, and thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
A marriage checkup is when you want to know the condition of your marriage. Just like the medical checkup, you want to know how is my heart, how is the pulse, how all those things.
Yeah.
Do I have any diseases that have come up or are hidden somewhere in there? So in marriage, you also want to have a checkup, and we'll talk about the timing. You want to have a checkup so that you can see what is the condition of the marriage. How is it? How are you? Now, there is a difference between checkup and check-in. Because checkup is when now we are generally, they just do a normal checkup. But now when you're checking in, you're really going into the nitty-gritties of, I want to really know what is, you've told me in this area, how are the finances? Oh, we are good. But now when we start going into now checking in is
Mhm.
what, just putting the numbers down and saying this is what we need to do. This is so the check-in is more detailed, but checkup is the general. The way you can just have maybe weekly or monthly. It's, we are good, but we are good in this area. And this, how is this area? We are good. But now check-in is when you really go into the details. I really want to know how this is working or how things are working in this particular area. So it is the general feel of how are we doing as a couple? How are we doing in this marriage or in the family? How are we doing?
Okay.
Yes.
Why is this important?
It is important. Just you asked me earlier when the last time I went for a checkup. When I went for the checkup, I discovered, people look at me and think I'm lean, and my cholesterol levels were a bit high.
Oh.
Yeah. So I could never have known that
If you hadn't gone for the checkup.
For that. In our experience working with married couples, we see this, and I was listening to somebody say that, which is true because that's what we've experienced. By the time a couple is coming to you for marriage therapy, this thing has been happening for the last 6-7 years.
Oh.
And so often it's very, very difficult to try and correct that. I think it's just like in our health. Some of us is until tumekufa ama tunaenda tunapatikana tukana stage 4 cancer. Mengine ingejulikana zamani and it could have been arrested. So that's why. Because sometimes we just can get so busy with the normal way of doing things and going on. Life is busy. And by the time we are realizing tuliwachana zamani, we're just housemates in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that, when we talk about the relationship clinic, for me, I would say this is the triage. The triage is when now you go and, check the temperature. Before now you go and
check
do
the
vitals before you do the main checkup.
Yes.
So this is like the triage. Now when we have the Thursday clinics, because people are hearing, oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So it is like, oh, okay, the temperature I think is a bit too high. Yeah. So this is the triage. Then now you go into the doctor's place where they do everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Would you say a lot of couples actually take the time to do a checkup, to find out where are we, what are the problematic areas, what scenarios do we need to change? Do you have a lot of couples who actually do this?
No, we are very reactive. By the time they are coming is when things have gone south and have been south for so long. And so, again, that's really basically what marriage coaching is all about, is checking up and saying, okay, what can we work on? What do we need to improve on? And then helping the couple now to really coach themselves and have their own checkups.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, it's like having a state of the nation address.
Yes.
Yes. This is where we are at. And so if you can do that maybe on a weekly basis, how are we doing? But even going further, maybe daily. Because, James, if you're working, people leave at 6 in the morning, but already usiku wa manane. And then tomorrow, and before long, you can realize that you can discover that we've been away for a long time. We don't even know what is happening in each other's life. And so sometimes just 30 minutes, how has been your day, and really asking some critical questions that help draw out and then bring out a conversation, because it could be in the office, maybe somebody's stressed, it could be financially, it could be maybe they got a phone call from home and their mother is sick, and that is what is now being displayed in the marriage, and that's why somebody's reacting the way they're reacting. So just knowing those things early enough then helps the other person know, oh, okay, so this is how things are, so I need to be careful around this person, I need to be just extra careful with them because of what they're going through, or even at the place of work. Maybe it's that time when they're doing some reviews at the workplace, so so there's a lot of tension. So again, so it helps you to just know, how do I handle my partner?
All these things sound very sensible.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it makes sense. It's the right thing to do. But why is it so hard to do?
Because it requires time, number one, and it requires also emotional energy, which sometimes we don't have.
Hapo kwa emotional energy ni ukweli.
Yes, because you can't just have, if you ask, okay, for the men, they'll say, how are you? I'm fine.
I'm fine.
But most of the time that fine is feelings inside not expressed. They are just, they are fine. They're yes.
Feelings inside not expressed.
Yes, they're just fine. You see, so they don't want to really talk about it, or sometimes they just don't know how to talk about it. So now it takes a wise woman to really dig out what is inside. And for the lady, if you're asking her, how are you? And she says, yes, I am fine, but then she starts. So do you have the time as the husband to listen to her for another 1 hour?
Yes.
You are so tired, you're from work, you've been listening to people, and now, you know, we have to sit down and talk. So that's why it's important to schedule. Sometimes it is important to schedule, especially the check-ins.
Okay.
It is important to schedule so that you can really have a time, a longer time for you to sit down and to talk about it. But if it is something that is urgent, then we cannot wait for Wednesday or Friday to now have that check-in. We need to talk about it. We need to really schedule some time and say, let's talk about this maybe in the next 30 minutes or in the 40 minutes. Give me some time to re-energize, then I'll have time. So it's normally difficult because it's the time, sometimes the time is not there, but there is also that energy. That level of concentration is maybe 0 or minus.
How do you prevent this from becoming a confrontation? Because it can easily spiral into a confrontation of accusations back and forth.
Very, very important. And that's what I was, because when we make it so tense and we need to talk, that then just
But when your wife says, honey, we need to talk, hey.
So just make it very, very casual, make it very, very easy, and come with a mindset of, it's not about you. It could be me. Have this thing of, how are we doing? Not how well. Unafanya, you have not been. Now that one, the man will not show up. Because so often that's what men feel, fear. And you know, so but let it be that, hey, how are we really doing here? And as you're asking, please don't have an agenda. Because sometimes you know, our wives can ask us, how are we doing, but they really want us to go somewhere. So just come with an open mind and let's just have a discussion. Or I've noticed this, or could we again make suggestions? Don't start commanding, you know, we need to start doing. No, just make a suggestion. Maybe this will help us a bit more. Sometimes it can come even as you know, just probably watch a movie together. From that movie, you can pick up a few things. Say, what did you think about this? What do you think? How can we apply that in our marriage?
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. So in that easy way, a lot can be achieved, as opposed to we need to talk and we are face to face, and it can be very confrontational. Or you are coming with, you know, you're not doing. No. The next time the other partner won't show up.
Very true.
Maybe, however, sometimes it is important to schedule and just to have an agenda, because there are times when you really need to talk about certain things. You need to just find out, how is our spiritual life? How can we improve in this particular area? How are our finances? So you see, for that one now we have the agenda, we are talking about finances. So your mind is, you're psychologically prepared and mentally prepared to talk about this thing. So there are times when it's just easy, like what Barnabas is saying, I agree with him. But there are times when it is, when we have to schedule it and say, we'll be talking about maybe our children, or we are talking about our spiritual, we're talking about even work. You know, maybe the man or the woman wants to change career. So that takes a longer time. So sometimes you need to just say, let's go away. Not even in the home, let's just go away and talk about this particular topic, because it's heavy on my heart. So in that regard, then it is scheduled.
And even if it's scheduled, and nothing wrong with scheduling it, what we are saying is make it easy.
Make it
create
easy.
a safe space. I think for me that's very, very important. Let's create a safe space so that those conversations can really be good conversations.
You're right.
Where we pick up something and we say, oh, actually, I think I need to work on this. And we come up with some action points from that.
I'm just thinking, many people probably are not comfortable to go for a medical checkup because they don't want to receive bad news. Staki unianze kuniambia sijui cholesterol yangu iko high, sijui niko na nini. I'd rather not know, let me just enjoy life. So I'm just thinking, when you have these conversations, what should be the focus? Because if we are always focusing on the negative things, that meeting may become, again we have to meet. and talk about you don't do this, I don't want to be a part of it. So what should we talk about? Should we also talk about the good stuff and celebrate the good stuff, or is it just the negatives?
No. When we meet, the first thing that we do is let's look for time. Let's look for a place, because you really need to focus.
Yeah.
So when you've done that, then let's start by appreciating one another. What is the one thing that I appreciate about Barnabas? I have other things that maybe he's not doing, or maybe he has things that I'm not doing. But what's the one thing that I appreciate about him? What's the one thing that I appreciate about our marriage? Because not everything that is bad. Because if we are all the time in the negative room, then it can be very discouraging, and you would not even want to have those scheduled meetings. So what are the things that we appreciate? What is it that is working? Can we improve on that? What are the things that we can start doing together? What are the things that we need to...
Sorry, you see, it's just like a feedback session that we even have at our workplaces. So begin by what is working.
Yes.
Yeah. And then what is not working? What can we do differently? That's very, very safe, because we're not saying that what are you not doing?
Yes, exactly.
Doing this. You need to start doing this. No. What is working? And let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate what is working. So many times couple come to us and we take them back. Hey, but there's something really working. Yeah, and they think about, they say, actually, there's this. So there are some things working. Because at that point we think everything is not working. But there are some things that are working.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate that, because that's a good place to ride on. And then what is not working? And what can we do differently? Yes.
Okay. So how often should couples have these kinds of sessions?
Okay, they're the daily sessions where you just, daily time, the daily debriefing that you have every day, just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, how was your day, how are you doing? That helps a lot, because it's just a touch, it's just, we're just checking up. Then now there is where you sit down and you go maybe out, or you're in the car, or you just spend some longer time together. That's now the check-in where you just you are dealing with feelings. How are you feeling in this area? How are you, so that can be weekly. And then of course there's now you can also have it monthly. If weekly is not working, you can decide, let's have it bi-weekly.
Yeah.
But if that is done, then you'll have less things to talk about when it's a monthly thing. But if you're waiting for 1 month, it can be very overwhelming. So let's have it in manageable pieces. Every day just a checkup. Are you okay? Is everything okay? I'm fine. But you can also check the moods, because sometimes somebody can say I'm okay, but they're really not okay.
Yeah.
But what is it that is making them not okay? Maybe the lady is in that time of the month and she's just not okay, and that's okay. Then it's good for us to communicate and say this is what is happening, or I don't want to talk about it now. Can we look for a time when we can talk about it? Or I'm just not. It's that time of the month. Let's talk about it. The thing we are encouraging is let's have communication flow, so that we are not, I just see you, it's day in, day out, going to work, coming back, going to work, coming back. And the most we do is talk to the children or through the children.
Yeah. And sometimes also you see, Jemo is important, because we've seen couples now, a lot of resentment has built up for a long time.
Yes.
There are a lot of unresolved issues. Or we think we resolved the issue, but we didn't really resolve it. So these checkups, especially weekly ones, can help. There's something we normally teach couples called the kneecap, where we just we sit facing each other with our knees touching.
And you hold hands.
And we hold hands. And if there was something there was a dome or something that, we go through it again, just to make sure that this thing has been resolved.
Yeah.
And we forgive each other and repair whatever damage has been done, and we move on. Because a lot of couples, one moved, one didn't.
One remained there.
Yeah, so this guy is shocked that there's still an issue there. I thought we had
resolved
but the other person was, because sometimes it's just simply saying I'm sorry. Some people are very quick at that, because they can say I'm sorry, and but it's not about I'm sorry. Have we really resolved the issues that is there? So
to answer your question is, are there things that we need to start doing? So those are the things that, first let's continue doing. So those are things that are good. We are celebrating. Oh, we've done this. Oh, good. We've done this. Good. We've done this. Good. But there are things that we need to stop doing. these are the things that are not working out in the relationship.
Yeah.
So let's work on stop doing this thing. Then there are things that now we need to start doing. Things that now we are saying we are improving.
We're improving.
On the relationship.
Yeah.
So you continue, you stop, but there are things that you really need to start. There are new ideas, but let's have them also in manageable pieces so that we are not crowding everything. Sometimes just take one thing.
In fact, I was going to ask
Just
that.
one thing, because if you're looking for everything, you'll be very discouraged.
Yeah.
If you're working on you'll be discouraged. So what do we want to work on in this season? I think our sex life is down. So let's work on this. What are we working on? Maybe our finances. We're doing a project together. So what can we start? What can we stop? What can we continue?
Yeah.
Then it helps to break it down, and you're having fun when you're doing it. It's not really overwhelming.
And as we start doing some of those things, it could be a new thing.
Yes.
And again, it's okay to experiment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, many times we'll ask couples, what common interest, what shared interest do you have? And you find people don't have a shared interest.
They don't have a shared interest.
So can you think of something you can start trying, start doing something, maybe taking a walk or something, and that just brings some excitement in the relationship. And then that again will go back to the checkup. So every week or every month we can be looking at how are we doing on this.
Yes.
Is it really working or not working?
Yes.
And if it's not working, then throw it out. Try something else. Yeah.
Okay. I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions this morning. Relationship Clinic, today we are doing a marriage checkup. We are hanging out with a wonderful, wonderful couple. They do a lot where marriage is concerned, whether it's premarital counseling, marriage therapy. They are also pastors. This is Pastor Barnabas and his wife, Grace Achoki. Questions on 20316 SMS, WhatsApp 0786316316. You guys do you have a website? Or you're just on social media?
Social media.
Two Ships Solutions.
Yes.
Yes, Two Ships Solutions.
Yes.
That is what their marriage ministry is called. You can hook up with them. Remember, questions are coming in on 20316 for SMS. WhatsApp 0786316316. I have one here that says, Pasi, sometimes when you do the check-ins, you find it's one-sided, depending on the topic. But it's an important question. What does one really do? I think it ties into what you were saying when we were listening to the song about who takes leadership.
Yeah.
How do you go around this one?
Yes, sometimes it can be very disheartening because you find that it's always maybe, for example, the lady, because we are told we are very relational.
Yes.
So we want to find out. It's not like we are nosy, but we just want to find out how are we doing. So there are times when the lady can also get to a place where she's tired. She's tired of always asking, and she's never asked, how are you doing? So she as ladies, we want leadership. We want to see leadership also in that area, because it's a role. It's the role of a man to take leadership, So it's not bad when your husband asks you, hey, my darling, how are you doing? I'm telling you, it feels so good, because there are times you just want to pour out. And no wonder there are so many office affairs, because the people in the office are asking you, how are you doing?
Work husbands.
How are you doing? Now unafungua roho unasema I'm doing, because that question is not asked at home. But I understand also sometimes it's one-sided, because as women, we go into these conversations attacking.
Yes.
So we need to learn to draw out information instead of attacking. Instead of going and asking, hey, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. So when the man hears that question, how are you doing? He takes off. He just says fine, and he's on his way, he's on his feet moving, because he does not want the attacks. So how can we learn as women to draw out that information? And we said we start by appreciating and what is working well, because that then makes them the guard to go down, and you're able now to go in. What is your objective of having those conversations?
I saw a clip of a marriage therapy session, and this couple were having issues, and the woman started talking to the husband, because they were being taught how to communicate. And the woman started accusing the husband. This son of yours has done this and has done this. I think that the man came with the child and even the woman. So this son of yours, who is not even my son, has done this and has done this. And the marriage coach says, let me show you how you do this. He says, I'm getting concerned Because when I look at you as a man, yeah, you're a wonderful man, a role model, not just in the community, even in the family.
Yeah.
But this son of ours, it's like he's not emulating you.
Yes. Wow.
And I'm getting worried. What can we do?
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
And you
good.
could just see the husband melting away, trying to find solutions in his head. But the other one, he had already put up a shield.
Exactly.
Affirmation.
And that's what we talk about, creating that safe space. So
Yes.
don't just come with that. Learn to be very tactful. You know, Grace was saying the men are the leaders. But yesterday I was reading somewhere, the woman was given to us as a helper.
Yes.
And no, helper is a very big position.
It's a very
because
big
even
position.
God is our helper.
Yes.
You know, we look at helper as
Yes.
somebody is below. Helper can also be somebody superior.
Yeah.
So sometimes it requires our wives to help us by influencing us into. I like that question, because when you ask that, so often I tell ladies, instead of complaining about him coming late, why don't you begin by appreciating how hard he's working? Because men connect with their work,
Yeah.
the passion, the things they do. Connect there, and then now bring out your concern. And also bring it as a concern.
As a concern.
Not as an attack.
An accusation and an
And
attack.
sometimes also you can just come in and say, you know, what as a lady, you can just say, you know, what can I do to be a better wife to you? You see, now you've drawn something out of him. Or go to the area that is very important for the
Yes.
man. Go into the area of sex and say, how can we better? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Now you're drawing him in, and before long, the man will start taking that initiative and also be willing to come into those checkups. So we need to create an exciting thing to make the man want to. And what parties?
Yeah.
It could be the other way around.
It could be the other way around, yeah.
The other way around,
It
yeah.
could,
So
yeah.
make the other partner want to come for that checkup, other than have to come for that checkup.
I like that. It could be the other way around,
Yeah.
because sometimes a lady can also come without an issue, and the man is like, he or two, just that, only that. That's all. You know, I thought we are going to talk about something so big.
Big, yes.
So the lady just shies away and she says, I will never open my heart again. Or she's asked, why are you crying? You don't need to cry. You're not a child. Grow up. You know, you got married so that you can, you know, so if you're crying, the children are crying. So you dismiss that lady, and she's not going to open up.
She's not going
so
to open
how do we work around? I like that safe environment. How do we have that safe environment for both of us, so that the lady is able to open up? The reason why sometimes ladies attack is because they know, I only have this window opportunity. It is say today or never.
Yes.
So she's like everything
Yeah.
that she's wanted to say, because she does not know when we are going to talk next. So when we create that safe environment and we make those debriefing sessions as often as possible, then you see you are dealing with less issues.
Yes.
And you're able to have healthy
Conversations. Thank you for this forum. My partner and I never discuss any issue. Whenever an issue comes up, he goes silent for days. And when he speaks again, he assumes it was solved. It's very frustrating.
Yes, and that's why we say it can be very, very frustrating.
Yes.
But probably, again, what we're saying, going back to how are we doing it? I think the how is very key. There's what needs to be done, but how are we
doing it?
So look for creative ways of how we can draw each other into these conversations. Because so often when somebody what you're saying, that wall can be in terms of going silent or being very hostile. We react in one of those two ways. So let's see, how can we make it workable for both of us?
Sometimes as the lady, just make a good meal, get into his shoes, get into his life, get into what he's doing. It may also be the wrong timing. If the guy is stressed at work and then you're bringing something that is also stressful, he'll not hear you. He'll not listen. He will hear, but he will not listen to you. So that timing, what are the things that he likes? Sometimes the home environment is not the best place to talk about these things. So let's go somewhere out where there is where you're relaxing. That space is safe. So that, and then of course now going back again to really appreciating and affirming the person. You affirm somebody for who he is or for what he is, but you appreciate for what they have done. So affirm him. You know, I like the example that you gave. You're a good father. You know, you've affirmed him. I'm a good father. So that one catches him. But you know, if you say, Sasa, other men are doing it, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Kwani, what kind of man are you? Already you've shredded him.
Yeah.
So he's not able to listen thereafter.
Very true.
So the environment matters a lot, the timing, where you are, and how you do it.
Okay. Listen to this one. Good morning, Percy and the guests. As we do checkups when things are okay, problem is we will easily discuss the past and laugh about it, the good old memories. Try touching the present and things will go south. You even avoid going there altogether. Is there any hope? Is there any hope here?
There's still hope. There's still
Yeah.
hope. What we're constantly saying is just change tactic.
Yes.
If something not been working, change tactic. And it's very, very easy to come. And we see this in marriage therapy. Jem, when a couple comes to you, what basically, and I see this a lot with ladies, they're coming and saying, help me sort this guy.
Yes, help me sort this.
So,
Yeah.
And I'll be your helper to sort him out.
Sort him out.
Yeah, we don't come with an open eye and say, probably there's something I'm also not doing. What is it that I'm not doing that is affecting our relationship? And sometimes it's just good to volunteer and say, look, I've realized that probably I am not doing this, or I'm not serving you well, I'm not maybe submitting to you the way you want. What do you think I can do? Now that then helps a guy to come in, and then maybe you then ask him, so what do you think you can also do? So that each of us is always taking responsibility, not about
pointing,
not the blame game all the time. It's a blame game.
Yeah.
What am I not doing? What could I do? What can I do differently to help improve our marriage?
I like I like what this couple is doing, because they have already started the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. So continue. Now it is going to the next level. At least you're doing the checkup. That's very good.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next level. And sometimes maybe there's something that is really, really bothering you, or it's, a thorny issue. Remember we talked about kneecap.
Yes.
Take time. Just take time, sit down, hold each other. Appreciate, look into each other's eyes. It's a difficult thing. It will look awkward the first time, but as you go on, because you're already used to the checkup, as you go on, you will find that you'll be able to break ice. So hold each other's hands, look into each other's eyes, appreciate that person, and you're not talking at the same time. So let one person go, say, I appreciate you for this and for that and for that, and then the issue that I have is this, and maybe the other day this and this happened, and this is what it made me feel. It made me feel this certain way. So you're not attacking that person, but it is what it made you feel. Then the other person mirrors it back to you. This is what it made you feel, and I'm sorry about it. And then, of course, the other one also now you have an exchange, and the other one does the same, with you. So it's not about you did, but what were the feelings that were captured when that thing happened? Because many times we talk about what happened, but we don't talk about what it made us feel and how it touched us. And then later on, what we want. We know what we don't want, but what do we want?
What do you want?
So as we continue and you leave that kneecap area, then now you go back to what are the things that are working in our relationship? What is it that is not working? How can we improve?
Yes.
So it is us. It is not really attacking that person. It's how can we improve in this area? But I'm glad they're already doing something.
For a couple who's not been doing this, how do they begin? Where do they begin? Especially if there's already quite some baggage.
I think still begin with appreciation. Just begin by looking at what can we appreciate about each other and about our relationship. And then begin, again, I think she said it, in manageable pieces. Bring one thing at a time. But even as you bring it out, let's have the questions that help draw out and make it not an attack. But what can we do? We are now, it's both of us. What do you think I can do? What do you think you can do? And what can we together do to help improve this marriage?
Percy, we default to fine as a safe answer because sometimes when you open up, then your words come back later to haunt you in the future. Whatever you say can and shall be held against you in future misunderstandings.
Yes. And I so often tell ladies that please, in that moment, in that hour, don't bring out what a man shared in his hour of vulnerability.
Yes.
Because that's how men are. The moment that is used against me, I shut
down.
Honoring one another. Let's honor one another, because when I'm coming to you to pour out my heart, it's not just a venting session. I'm pouring the innermost feelings that are there. So honor that. Don't be dismissive, or don't archive it to be used, in the next session. So that's part of honoring one another, so that when I bring up an issue next, you're not referring, and pulling it from the files and saying, this is what you said. But when we finish an issue, let us try and finish it. Many times they are pulled out because maybe we did not finish. We did not resolve the conflict. We just did half of it and then packed it and put it under the carpet. So let's try and resolve. And how we resolve is, and that it's really resolved, is when there is a win-win. Are you happy about it? Am I happy about it? Are we okay now? But don't assume that it was resolved by having, maybe we had sex, so that was okay. So now everything was resolved. No. Let's have a win-win. Hear each other out, and that's how you honor one another.
Wow. This one, E see a checkup. E in he almost admission. Good morning. I love the show. I have an issue that is bothering me. My wife has not talked to me for 3 months. She doesn't receive my calls. We live and work in different towns. She's in a faraway town. I am in Nairobi. Kindly help out.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a crisis.
That's a crisis.
So sometimes they don't check up. Enda kwa daktari who are admitted kwa hospitali.
Yes.
So that they can be able to find out what is. 3 months is a long time.
3 months is a long time. Me and siendi kazini nitaenda kumtafuta.
Yes.
3 months.
Yes.
That's admission.
Hata 3 months, 1 week.
Hata 1 week.
Nitapanda basi niende kule yuko.
Yes.
Find out what's going on.
Yeah. And by the way, that's why again, for the men listening, that's why checkups are key. Because when your wife, the day your wife stops talking to you.
Yes.
These ladies, they check out fast emotionally.
Yeah.
And then one day utapata ameenda.
Yeah, by the time she's checking out emotionally.
That hits men hard because they didn't see it coming. And she may just start behaving as normally, but amesha check out. So it's important. These checkups are very, very important. Some of these things can be nipped in the bud.
It helps you connect. It helps you touch base. It helps you know where are we. It just helps because she may say, yes, I'm okay, and then she walks away quickly. There's something. So are we also observant in our relationships? That I can see he's not fine. This is not the yappy person that I know. So are we observant? I mean, we are not going to snoop, but because sometimes we are really observant, with the phones. You want to know what is he doing. But what about the two of us? Am I observing that, hey, of late, Bunny is not the way, there's just something that is off. And more than that, let's also pray for one another. I think also time for prayer helps a lot, because when we pray together, I'm not talking just praying with the children, but just the two of us. When somebody is pouring their heart to God, hapa alisema kitu and I didn't realize that this person,
this thing is serious.
This thing is serious. So,
but maybe another side to it, because again, I know people who can pray, but we can religiously pray. That's why this checkup is good. People pray. I know couples who pray, but they are different wavelengths. So it's also important. Let's check up and then let's pray with understanding. Because we can just be praying in general prayers, bless our marriage.
Or praying in
bless
tongues.
Our marriage. But there's an issue here. Let's talk about this. Let's find out how we're doing issue. And then invite God into that.
What happens when you have these checkups and there are issues that are consistent? You're not seeing results. How do you handle it? Especially if it is directed to one person. So you keep asking, how can I make it better? And I tell you how we can make it better, but you never follow up on the things we talk about.
And that's important. Ownership is key. That's what I'm saying. Even this thing of date night.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So a guy will do it 1, 2, 3 times, but has he bought into this thing?
Has he bought into this thing?
Yeah. Or is this something I'm doing for my wife? Is this something I'm doing for us? So let's be honest. And if something, this one, I don't think this can work, or I don't think for me, or maybe there's just a lack of motivation. Why is he not doing? There's a reason. We do things we want to do. So if I'm not doing something, they find out something, or there's an obstacle. And now that can only be removed with the help of a third party. And that's why going for therapy. Please don't wait for things not to be happening to go for therapy. You can come for therapy just, okay, we seem to be stuck here. So often what we're doing, we are helping people get unstuck in areas where they are stuck. Why is it not doing that? And as you, with a third party who is looking at things from objectively, can help identify what obstacles are there and then help you guys to remove those obstacles. Because sometimes they're internal obstacles. Sometimes it's a trauma from the past that is hindering that movement. So you are asking me to push me in a particular direction, but hey, niko na shida hapa. Yeah, it could be issues of bedroom matters like even sex. But the lady is, come to find out, the lady has trauma from childhood. And that's what is making her, when it comes to that area, she's still fearful. Yeah. And so she withholds. So as much as we said, okay, we need to improve the frequency, but if that
is not dealt with,
has not been removed, we'll remain stuck there.
I like what you've said, because when we think about a marriage coach or a marriage therapist or a counselor, we think of going, nikienda kumuona tuko na shida. But sometimes it's just to, how can we make things better? We really don't have a problem. Things are good, but we just want to talk about certain things and find out how can we improve. I think that's important. And if that becomes...
That's the whole essence of coaching. So don't just... Counseling is now when you are dealing with this disease. But moving forward is, let's just come and have a conversation. Sometimes out of those conversations, we can maybe identify, oh, actually, we can also work on this. So we are improving, we are growing.
We are growing.
They say something that is not growing is dying.
Is dying. Very, very true.
And sometimes that's growth, but is painful. Yes, and that's what we don't want. We don't want to go through the pain. We don't want to revisit some things. We don't want to, because when you're talking about this particular problem, it could, like what he's saying, there could be a root problem. And so that root problem, I don't want to go back to it because that's a skeleton. So I don't want to face my skeleton. But yet if I don't face that skeleton, it's affecting us here. So sometimes you need to go back, face the skeleton, deal with it, and then come here. And that's what coaching now helps you to do.
Okay. I think my time is up. I'll give each one of you a minute. What would your parting shot be?
My parting shot would be, let's continue talking. Let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. You'd rather over-communicate and over-talk. But we cannot run away. Let's give time to each other let's honor each other by giving time to each other, by trying to know what is the condition of my sheep. What is the condition of your heart? What is, just like what the Bible says, what is the condition of your sheep? What is the condition of my heart? Because if I also don't know what I'm going through, it's hard for me to communicate what I'm going through. So let's communicate and let's help one another. Because this thing is possible.
It's very possible.
It's important to have a regular checkup, just like in our spiritual life. Now I'm talking to Christians. That's why we read our Bible. That's why we have our quiet time. And every Sunday, imagine every Sunday we go to church. You go to church. It's just a checkup. So I'll have a weekly time as a couple where we are just talking about our marriage. How is it doing? Read a book together. Go for seminars together. Hang out with other couples, so that it can also be an extended kind of like checkup, and where we can now have those conversations. Because if we don't do that, by the time, and I'm saying this seriously, because we are seeing couples, and by the time they're coming, you're wishing they saw us 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yes.
Wow. Asante sana. My friend, Two Sheep Solutions. Find them on social media. Get in touch with them in case you need help. Don't wait for 6 years. The time is now. Hope you've had a wonderful time with this conversation. Things for us to think about, things for us to start doing if we are not already doing them. Aya, clinic limefunga. Madaktari wanaenda kuhudumia watu wengine. Until next week, do have a great day and God bless you.
For watching, remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.